Hi everyone, alongside Mike Trossel, I'm Dave Giancola, and welcome back to History Makers. Australia's Kari Webb won the 2000 US Women's Open by a commanding 5 strokes. When she arrived at Pine Needles for the 2001 championship, she was trying to become just the 7th player to successfully defend the title.
Davis' second round 65 moved her to the top of the leaderboard, and she entered the final round leading by 5 once again, with 1998 champion Sairi Pak her closest competitor. We pick up the action on the back 9, with Webb trying to put the finishing touches on another victory, while Pak, Dottie Pepper, and others try to close the gap.
As we go back out to the par 5 10th and pick up the 3rd shot for Webb. Roger?
Well, just in the cut of rough, just off the fairway. The bad news here, I think, for her would be that the grain of the grass is coming against her, and also does not have the best angle, being on the left side of the fairway to this pin cut on the left side of the green.
Got so much as one of the bigger greens, though, Roger. She can be very conservative. Take her 5 and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just get it front right, front middle right, and say, okay, the tee shot cost me. If I make a 30-footer, fine, but take 5 and see you later. But you can see how much slope there is on this hill here. And you do not want to mess with that left side and into the grain. Sometimes the club will shut down if you try to hit it at the flagstick and be a little aggressive. It can turn it over.
Yeah, I expect.
What club do you think she'll hit, Roger?
Pardon me, John?
What club do you think she'll hit?
She just has 99 yards to the hole. And the ball a little bit above her feet, which I think is another concern for the ball going left. So, you know, I think I agree with you. The wise play is short right of the hole up into the center of the green somewhere and walk away with 5 if you can.
She's looking out in this area here. You can see her eyes.
Just what she's done, Johnny. Smart play.
Yeah, it's actually pretty makeable. Not much break there. That's wonderful.
Tee at 13, 205 yards. Christy Kerr with another solid round going today at 1 under par and +2.
Got a good golf swing. Good game, period. Smart young woman. See a perfect setup, just right on the money. Looking right at the target, backing away. Probably somebody made a little hiccup down there. 23 years old. Tied for 2nd in this championship than last year.
Just lucky enough. Kick right, hard.
Tee shot will just find the left edge, and unfortunately catch one of those slopes and find the bunker. And we'll go back over to the 10th.
Again, the short par 5. And Sairi Pak just short of the green in 2. Roger?
Yeah, from about 60 feet coming uphill. I don't think I'll do a lot from here. May try to eke right as it loses speed. Certainly needs to hit a good chip here. Has not chipped the ball particularly well these last couple of days.
Why is she chipping this?
She could have putted it, John. I don't know.
I mean, she could have putted the last one.
Just has to make birdie here.
But
This is pretty good here, though.
Good shot. It'll be an easy tap-in birdie for Sairi Pak. And she'll get it back to red numbers at 1 under. She's worked so hard on her short game. That was another part of her game which she devoted so much time with. She broke up a relationship with her former teaching pro David Ledbetter and began working with Tom Creevy, and that's what they began emphasizing was a short game. They tightened her swing up a little bit, and even though the results didn't show fully last year because Sairi Pak didn't win, she started feeling the results coming into this season. Dottie Pepper at the 14th. That's her 2nd shot.
See a tough tucked pin on the left side here.
Fade. Cut.
Might be going a little left. Look at these edges. That's a pretty good golf shot, and because of the design of this golf course, you just can't go long. The first thing you got to probably tell your player if you're a caddy is we're not going long this week. We're going to keep it in front of the hole.
Dottie has ratcheted up even her very loud voice the last couple of holes. It's her caddy Worth Blackwelder, and that might be a little longer walk down the back nine than he usually takes with Dottie.
Yeah,
because she is into this championship.
Yeah, it's a couple shots in a row that she's hit really well and gone long.
Now Peggy Kirkbell, the longtime owner of Pine Needles here, and signing some autographs here for some of the young girls. It's the big reason why this championship will come back here in 2007. Back over to Webb for birdie, and she rolls it in. So after driving it in the bunker at the 10th, just managed her way up the golf course and ends up matching Se-Ri Pak's birdie at the same hole. And the lead is jacked up back to 6. Kari Webb at 7 under par.
Where Dottie Pepper is ready to play her third shot from behind the green. Not an easy one. Just carries it on the putting surface. This is good. Beautifully played. And a little high five with Worth Blackwelder. Who's actually the husband of former LPGA player Myra Blackwelder. 12th hole. This is A.J. Ethorn for birdie. Woman from Canada who played so well in the opening round finally gets one in. Well, this a moment ago at the 16th, Sophie Gustafsson from the right green side bunker. And all of a sudden they're coming in from everywhere at 16. That moves her to 5 over par for the championship. Just one over in her final round. And back at the 13th, Christy Kerr with her second shot. This just a moment ago. Should run down the hill toward the hole. And she would make that par putt and remain at 2 over. And we'll go to the par 4 11th. 367 yards. And Roger Maltby's right there.
And Se-Ri Pak in the primary rough on the left-hand side, and really quite a thick lie. Good news, Gary. Grain of the grass going with her. Has a shot of 135 yards. Wind coming from the left and from behind the players. So no more than a 9-iron. Just trying to hit it and land it near the front edge, just on the front edge, and with the hole cut in the front right. If you keep it a little left of the hole, that'd be perfect. This one turned left, though, coming out of there. Ruff grabbed the club and shut it down. Comes up short left of the green.
Pak's struggles will continue. She's made just 1 par in her last 6 holes. And Kari Webb.
You're not going to believe this, Gary.
Oh, she missed a fairway?
Rough.
Oh, we haven't seen that often, have we?
But it's just the intermediate cut, so it's not bad at all. 134 yards. Rough really not a factor at all.
And we see there, her driving accuracy this year, which is certainly very good, 77.6%. This week, 87.5% on a USGA setup golf course. That is phenomenal. Could be some kind of record. How's that look, Roger?
This might need to get up a little bit, yeah. I think she's fooled by the wind. She thought she'd get more help from it.
So both Kari Webb and Se-Ri Pak missed the green at the par 4 11th. It's Webb who hasn't missed much, though. She's still 6 shots ahead. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back to Southern Pines. This is Sari Pak's third shot. Par 4/11. And Roger, that's pretty well done.
Yeah, that's very well judged. As a matter of fact, I think she's a little surprised it checked up quite as quickly as it did, but nicely judged.
Well, the MetLife blimp Snoopy 2 has teamed up with NBC Sports to provide today's aerial coverage of the 2001 United States Women's Open. The Snoopy image at the nose of the blimp measures a grand 28 feet tall. So look for Snoopy 1 and Snoopy 2 at future sporting events throughout the year. And there's some beautiful wildflowers that surround this golf course. Just a picture-perfect setting. And now Kari Webb with perhaps a little more difficult shot than Pak's.
Certainly the tougher the two shots, Gary. The green much more steeply pitched up away from Kari than it was Sari Pak, so she'll have to get this ball up in the air quickly, and then it's going to come in on a lower and hotter trajectory, and she has less green to work with. So certainly the more complicated shot of the two.
So forced to open the club face pretty wide and make a fairly large swing.
Absolutely. And there you could see the skid because of the trajectory the ball came in on. Left herself a good 7-8 feet.
All right, so let's take another look. Face wide open. You'll see a pretty big swing for the length of shot. Cock the wrist quickly. Try to get the club under the ball. Notice how the face is held open. Just trying to get as much loft to the shot as possible. And we'll move up to the 17th. Par 4 that has been the most difficult hole on the golf course here at Pine Needles. It's Annika Sorenstam. Long putt from the fringe for a birdie. So it has been a very disappointing week for Annika. We go over to the 12th. Second shot for Yuri Fudo. Front left hole location is a tough one. Beautifully played shot there. So Fudo will have that short putt to move into red figures at 1 under par. We go to the 15th. 409-yard par 4. It has been a difficult one all week long. Fourth most difficult hole on the golf course. And players are hitting this green less than 20% of the time in regulation. And I think a large part of that is the severely sloping fairway. You'll see here Pepper will find the ball a good 4 to 6 inches above her feet. The other problem the players are facing, wind swirling around in this green, very protected. We go back to 11. Webb's putt for par. Roger.
This one should go a little left.
Well, Webb drops a shot. And that's certainly not a very well played hole. Not in that much trouble off the tee. Back at 15. Pepper now ready for her second. As I was saying, one of the other difficulties of the approach shot here is green very much surrounded by trees. Very difficult to pick up the wind direction. She started it right, as many have done, trying to draw it back. And that is easily the best second shot we have seen at the 15th today. Pepper has birdied this difficult hole each of the last 2 rounds, so she has to make it 3 birdies in a row here at 15 for her.
And now Sari Pak for her par at 11, a chance to get another stroke back on Kari Webb.
That's unusual to get the putter 3 or 4 inches back in your backswing and to just bail from there.
Roger, was there any noise in the gallery, or was it just her backing off?
Nothing. There was nothing here that would have disturbed her. Just didn't like the stroke, I guess.
Maybe she took it back a little outside or inside and knew as she did it.
Just has to make this, and just never even got a piece of the cup.
That putt.
So Pak just continues the struggle.
She decided to play the ball out, Roger, and maybe just feed it in there, and she gave it a little smack.
She's got one now just under 2 feet. Not in yet, really. I mean, This will have a little bit of break to the left.
Well, the field's being very kind to Kari Webb.
So matching bogeys, and at this point of the championship, that is not going to get it done for Se Ri Pak. She falls back to even with her 4th bogey of this round. So now Webb for bogey.
Well, it looked like really Webb was going to lose a shot on the last hole and then also on this hole. So Webb's dodged a couple bullets.
So the lead remains 6 for Kari Webb in search of back-to-back Open championships. And out to the tee at the 12th, the par 4, the leader by 6 still, Kari Webb.
Not too long of a par 4, 351 yards. It's an uphill sort of blind tee shot. The longer hitters could hit it over that rise, and she looks like she's hit it right.
Kari Webb is giving Se Ri Pak all sorts of openings, but Pak just hasn't been able to do anything with them. 15.
Golf course is tough with these shaved fringes. Made a big difference.
Well, here at 15, Dottie Pepper eyeing a putt for a very rare birdie on this hole. We've only seen 3 today. Johnny always felt putting through the shadows much more difficult. As we look at the lower right, Fudo for birdie at 12.
That's a rare miss for Fudo. Huh? She hasn't missed anything in that length.
I always thought putting through the shadows was very tough. Tough to pick up the break.
Yeah, you're probably right, but these greens don't break that much, most of them around the hole. She probably hit this right at it.
Yep, she knew it. So Dottie Pepper to 1 over par. 2 over par in her final round. And she is pumped up.
What a stare, what an intensity. Pretty warm day out there today, Gary. Temperatures, I would say, approaching 90. A slight breeze has made it a little more comfortable than.
I think it's made the temperature comfortable, Dan, but I think it's made the golf course play pretty difficultly. Wind has a tendency to swirl around through these pine trees as we go to 14.
And Kelly Keeney's second shot on the way to this tough par 4, part of that difficult stretch we've been talking about that the leaders are on their way to right now. And Keeney comes up short, but again, not a bad place to be. At the 18th, Annika Sorenstam finishing up.
And a little draw to this right hole location. And let's see if that stops. It probably won't. Watch this. This is quite a green. The back of the green is like,
jeez.
It's just amazing. If you hit it past the flagstick there, it'll go right off the green as you saw there. So that's a mental error right there.
Well, Gary's right. This golf course is changing dramatically today, Gary.
Well, this whole this little 16th at 170 yards has really given the players fits. The hole does play ever so slightly uphill. We've seen a lot of balls come up short, and as you see right now, the flagstick, the flag, literally looking like it's not blowing at all, but that is not the case.
Up above those pine trees is blowing.
Dottie with a 4-iron.
Playing very well this year, Gary. A lot of top 10s.
Come on.
A lot of chances to win. Now see, she played for that win thinking it was coming from the right. Didn't hurt. Didn't help. Over to 12.
Webb out of the bunker, Roger.
Good lie. Lip in front of her, but not a problem. She's back far enough, and the yardage is short enough. 125 the hole into the wind.
Solid, huh?
Solid. This ball started at the right of the green and turning left. Boy, needs to hang on from the spin a little bit, but that was really well played.
Kari Webb to Annika Sorenstam walking up this 18th fairway. Again, frustrated. Can always remember the Pumpkin Ridge walk-up 18 when she was shooting for 3 straight championships after the second straight here at Pine Needles in '96, and it's just been one Open disappointment after another. Johnny, since winning here in '96, has now shot only 1 of 16 rounds under par in this championship.
Thought this would be her year coming back here to where she won, and way she's been tearing the tour up, shooting 59 this year. Earlier 5 wins on the LPGA Tour.
Pak second at 12 on the way.
Winning the Nabisco, the first major of the year. I thought she might be going for the Grand Slam.
So Pak just below the hole in good shape.
Yeah, Kari, you know, you look at Kari and she has been the best player, no doubt about it, the last 2 years till Annika came along. So this is not that unusual to see her finally win this year on U.S. soil.
15.
Second shot for Christy Kerr on the way from just on the left edge of the fairway. Actually a very good angle to shoot toward the hole. And that a very safe and well played second shot. We'll go back to 13.
And Yuri Fudo on the tee. 205 yards. Tied for second at even par.
Very slow backswing, pause, long backswing, and then just effortlessly comes down. Watch this ball chase through the green, down the hill. Again, players like Dottie Pepper, Fudo are not factoring in the downhill and the wind, and I'm surprised they're not underclubbing to keep the ball in front of the hole.
At 14, Keeney for birdie. Can you imagine?
Good backspin. Keeney really spins the ball big time.
The difference this championship would have been, Johnny, especially in the all 4 rounds, had they not had the big rains before the championship began and then the big rains on Friday. I mean, we are just seeing a totally different golf course.
Yeah, that's true. Watch this shot. Could be a fairway wood chip. Gary Cook talked about the different shots you can hit. You can putt it. You could hit it with a 5, 6, 7 iron if you want. You could bump it in right on the fringe with a pitching wedge or sand wedge. You could flop it up there with a lob wedge, or you could take the fairway wood, which puts almost no backspin on the ball, which is the big key. For some reason, the fairway woods don't catch in the grass. You can't hit them fat because of the rocker sole, the rounded sole, and it doesn't spin it much, so you get a nice true roll and it crawls right up the hill. And she didn't crawl it up. Well, she did too. What a shot.
Oh, beautiful play by Sorenstam, and that will be one of the highlights she takes home. She'll save her par at 18. Back over to 12. Kari Webb.
Very makeable. We saw this putt, similar putt made by Julie Inkster in the second round, but that one didn't turn.
Should be a par for Kari and remain at 6 under, and yet another opportunity for Sairi Pak to chip away at the Webb lead. We'll get to that birdie attempt in just a moment, but over to 13. This is Fudo coming up the slope. Jane?
Well, Yuri Fudo obviously hit too much club here. Didn't factor in the wind, as Johnny said, and she's going for a lofted shot here. She's got about 11 paces of green to work with and a little bit into the wind, although the wind is really swirling. Great short game.
Really picks it up quickly, hits it in there, drives it in a low spin. Really picked the club up quickly, didn't she, Jane?
Yeah, she was on a little bit of a downslope there, Johnny. She really needed to do that.
Yeah, that was a good shot. It really was.
Yeah, just hit it a little bit too hard.
Just her second event in the United States for Yuri Fudo. And Sairi Pak with another opening to try to get it to 1 under within 5 of Webb.
And you can see only one player under par. Last time the championship was here when Annika won. Annika was -8, and Chris Cheddar was the only other one under par at -2. So the course is sort of playing just slightly tougher, but darn near the same as the last go around.
This one should go a little to her left.
Short again, Raj.
Yeah.
And that has been the theme and the trend for Sairi Pak, not only today, but throughout this championship. Yesterday, for par at the opening hole, a par 5, and that was a stinging bogey there. And for par again and the 5th yesterday, you can see her just befuddled for birdie at the 7th. And now today, that trend has continued, even though she thought she might have been a little bit open yesterday, but for birdie at the 1st, that might have been able to set the tempo for today, but the miss, and then for birdie at the 11th, didn't even catch a piece of the cup. So the putting woes continue for Pak, and when you've got Webb playing so solidly, you've got to make those.
Yeah, the putting has been a big issue. She's been ranked 49th coming into today, and today through 12 holes has 20 putts, as you can see. That's not good enough to win a championship, even though she's playing very well, ranked second in greens in regulation to Webb.
Well, that's the birdie putt of Christy Albers on the way. Come up just a little bit short. And before Albers putted, this was Dottie Pepper's bunker shot. It's a very deep bunker, some 4 or 5 feet below the level of the green. See it coming out rather low, looking for it to run, but well, it leaves a good 7 or 8 feet for Dottie if she's going to save par. Back to 13.
And Fudo, after coming up the slope, has this for par. Jane?
Got about 15 feet here. This green is probably one of the flattest here at Pine Needles, so I don't think it's going to do a whole lot. Just a little bit uphill.
What a slow stroke.
Well, she hasn't missed too many today.
Just the last couple she's missed. She could be wanting to get it into the barn, so to speak, and finish in the top 5. It would be a feather in her cap. Only playing twice over here.
Second bogey for Fudo. Julie Inkster now.
Inkster really taking a lot of time all day trying to select the club, and she and her caddy have been going round and round trying to figure out which way the wind is blowing. All in all, she's just been very indecisive.
This hole killed her yesterday. Remember, she hit it in the right rough on downslope by the bunker and hit it right.
Trying to block that memory out.
Left in the bunker, knocked it out. Double bogey.
Only 11 birdies all week at 14, the fewest yielded of any hole.
That's not a bad miss, though.
And back over to 16.
Par putt now for Dottie Pepper. She has been in 2 bunkers earlier today and managed to get the ball up and down both times, but a little bit more work cut out for her here. That should turn a little bit to her left. Right at the very last second. We go back to 13.
Webb on the tee with a 6-shot lead. This par 3, 205 again.
She's got out of 5-iron. It plays downhill, and the wind is helping it from right to left. 183 to the front, just trying to pitch this ball into the front third of the green.
And this is the beginning, Roger, of the tough stretch we've talked about.
This is right at the center of the green. That was really nicely judged. Landed right on the front of the green. Very well played.
You can see how firm the green is getting there. She landed on the very front edge and darn near went over the green just a few more feet, and that would have just run right off that back edge. Surprised.
That's a 5-iron as well. Just left of the hole.
Gets a good hop, and this is going to be a good shot for Pak. But we'll see if Sairi Pak can't try and ignite something. A birdie at the 13th would be a great place to start. She's been chasing Kari Webb all day long, but trails by 6. Back in '95, Annika Sorenstam came from 5 shots behind Meg Mallon in the final round to claim her first title on American soil. And in '96, right here at Pine Needles, became the 6th woman to successfully defend the U.S. Women's Open Championship. And right back here at Pine Needles, Kari Webb has a chance to equal that feat by Sorenstam. The last time it's been pulled off. And at 18 for bogey, Lori Kane. And that is a nice round. Even with a bogey at 18, you can see she's frustrated with that. But a 69 for Kane. Only player other than Webb with 2 rounds under par this week is that Canadian right there, Lori Kane. And there is Annika Sorenstam walking off with her 72 plus 7 for the championship. And back over to 13. Mentioned how many wins she has racked up, Johnny, and what is really only a pretty short career still. 23 LPGA wins, not a win so far this year, but 3 major championships, and at age 25 was the youngest player ever to earn her way into the LPGA Hall of Fame. She did it with her Open Championship last year, and it's just kind of odd to have a player in her mid-20s in the Hall of Fame already.
Well, they dropped the requirements down a little bit, but still isn't an easy hall to get into. It used to be the hardest in all of the sport.
Kari Webb rolls that by a little bit of a distance. Well, we just saw Annika finish with a disappointing championship run here earlier. We asked Kari Webb if Annika's hot start motivated her.
I don't have any control over how Annika plays, and she's definitely played tremendous golf this year. You know, I just I want to play well for myself, you know, the fact that she's playing well, it does motivate me a little bit to try and raise my game to get to that level again. You know, if I was only motivated by one player, then I really shouldn't be out here if I'm not doing it for myself.
The interesting point there was that she said, I need to motivate myself to get back to that level again. In other words, she's not saying she had to play better than she used to play to beat Annika. She just wanted to get back to the level she's been the last 2 years, and she figured that'd be good enough to beat Annika at her best. But I'll tell you, if the two of them were playing their A+ game, it would be quite a show.
Clearly the two best players, Johnny, in the way they've dominated this game.
Yeah.
Player of the year the last 2 years, Kari Webb, but has a little bit of work left for her par. So yet another opening, Roger, for Se-Ri Pak.
Yes, and putt without much break. May try to go a little bit to the right, but this from 15 feet and extremely makeable.
A good stroke.
Is it going to stay right on track? So Se-Ri Pak might have gotten the spark she needs at 13 to move back to 1 under. This could be a 2-shot swing.
You know, we've been raving about Webb and Sorenstam, but if you look at the third best player, it's clearly Se-Ri Pak. With her distance and ball flight, Roger, she doesn't have to take a back seat to anyone.
No, she is a very accomplished player, John. I wonder, though, I know she's working on her short game, but I don't know if it's quite at the level of Kari Webb and Annika Sorenstam yet.
Well, one thing you got to know, Se-Ri Pak's only 23. We sometimes forget how young she really is, but
fourth year on tour. It seems like we've seen her for a long time.
When
but
she hits her stride, probably in about 2 years, she could very well be the best player in the game. It wouldn't surprise me if she keeps improving. Like you say, that was one of the first strokes, Roger, that I saw her make where she looked like she really released the toe slightly and got a good full follow through, made the ball turn over. Sometimes she, you know, hangs that blade a little open. She was missing everything right yesterday.
Steady par putt for Webb, but she does have a lead. Chopped back down to 5, but only 5 holes left in this championship. 17, Dottie Pepper. Second shot on the way, the longest par 4.
Dot. Oh, what a bounce that was. Sit down. Sit. Sit.
We don't need to say anything, Johnny. I think Dottie's got it covered.
Look at that ball just keep trickling, but that was a good hop. She likes it.
What a bounce that was.
Then the minute she got the bounce, she was on to bite.
Well, look at Dottie Pepper moving up the board, maybe even further. 14, second shot for Fudo. Jane? 181 yards.
Hey, she's a good-looking player. I think a little bit of weight training and push-ups and things like that, just to bring her strength level up a notch, she could be a heck of a factor in, you know, in world golf. Really, she just doesn't look like she has a lot of strength.
Look how tough these finishing holes are, Johnny. Greens in regulation, the percentage hit, especially 15, less than 20% through 3 rounds. These stats.
I mean, starting on 13, you got the 6th hardest hole, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 1st, and 7th. So I mean, we're talking about from 13 on in, you better have your A game.
Well, let's go to that tee at 14. Se-Ri Pak able to get the honor here. And 14, Roger, the toughest fairway to hit, just 58% have found it this week.
And the wind against and from the left. So this is going to be a very demanding driving hole today. Certainly the bunkers down the right-hand side could be in play if they miss right, and that is not where you want to go.
hardest fairway to hit maybe on the course, Roger?
I think so, just because the angle the players are playing at, John. It's, it angles pretty hard left to right.
Hitting the ball just opposite that second bunker on the right. Hit the left of that. Did she get all that?
It seemed pretty good. Maybe a little toe-ish, right to left, but it'll be good.
Sounded like a toe. Look at that thing chasing into
that. Chased right through the fairway.
Yeah, that's a bad break there. She's awfully strong, but it was just a little bit of a dive-in hook. Is that why it ran?
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of looked like a topspin forehand, you know.
Yeah.
Here's a look at the numbers at 14, playing better than a half stroke over par. And she has loomed large. She has cast a big shadow this week at Pine Needles. Kari Webb, especially in this part of her game, Roger, just fairway after fairway after fairway.
Perfect flight here. It would be straight or a little fade. You want to hit the ball so that it works just a little this direction, not the other way.
This looks to be good going up the center of the fairway.
We'll just tape record Roger. It just stayed in. We'll tape record Roger and we'll just let it go.
Every shot.
After each tee shot of Kari Webb. 16.
Well, this just a moment ago, the birdie putt for Sherry Turner. 18th year on the LPGA Tour. Turning a little left, and an all-around good putt. So Turner at a 3 over par for the championship. Playing quite well. She was finished runner-up back in 1999 to Julie Inkster. As Kari Webb continues her march toward her second consecutive United States Women's Open Championship. Sairi Pak with a birdie at the 13th. Well, she's trying to make up ground.
Back in Southern Pines, North Carolina for this USGA Championship on NBC Sports, the 56th U.S. Women's Open. Kari Webb with 5 holes to play in search of back-to-back titles. 5-shot lead over Sairi Pak, playing with her today. Eri Fudo of Japan all alone in 3rd at the moment, and she's over at 14 with this long birdie attempt. That much left to remain at +1. We go over to 15.
Second shot for Julie Inkster at the long par 4. At a 4-iron from 199 yards, so trying to play the ball just past the front edge of the green. Oh yeah. There's a good shot from Julie, who's been talking all week long about not having much confidence in her swing. We go to 14.
Fudo for her par. And the 24-year-old from Japan, who's known for her work ethic. She's the first one at the course, last to leave the range. Very hard worker, remains at +1. And this is Dottie Pepper at the 17th for a long birdie.
And you can see this long putt across this 17th green, pretty level, really. It doesn't do a lot. It likes to break towards the back of the green, if anything, and she might not have got it to the hole, but she didn't realize it was slightly uphill.
Dottie really motivated by her performance here in the first championship back in '96. She missed the cut here. It was the only time she missed the cut in 18 Open Championships. Really motivated her. She went on to win 4 times that year, including 3 wins in a 5-week stretch, beginning 3 weeks after that disappointing Open. So back in '96 here at Pine Needles really motivated Dottie to turn it around. Over to 14. Look at that whole location, and the leader, Kari Webb.
Roger?
Well, not a particularly good angle from the left side of the fairway, but good news is in the fairway. 151 yards to the hole, and the wind has been gusting quite strong in the player's face at times. Now this shot plays uphill as well, so this shot's going to play more like 165 to 70 yards.
I think she'd be just like literally 20 feet right of the hole here.
Yes, I don't think you want to mess with the left side miss here, John. I think
the location's way over there.
Yeah, you just want to put it up into the center of the green, right front, anywhere over there you can play from.
Kari participated in her first Open at Pine Needles back in '96, finished tied for 19th. Coming into this championship, says her game has matured a lot. She says she got into a lot of heated discussions with her caddy at the time, but she now knows that to win this championship, it takes a lot of patience. Got to be a lot cooler head.
Looking out to the right. Watch your eyes. Just takes one look. That's unusual. Just one.
That was
Thin.
kind of thin, it sounded, John. Yeah, that comes up well short into the front bunker.
You don't really need to be doing that when you have a 5-shot lead. There's a lot of green right there after that great tee shot. Look at all the green right of the.
That almost looked like one of those swings, John, where she was trying to put it in the center of the green, and then like your instinct takes over and makes you want to pull it back toward the target.
Yeah.
And Roger, we're looking at the board right now. A moment ago, they posted the birdie for Se-Ri Pak at 13, and so now back up to a grand total of 2 players under par in this championship as Pak moved to 1 under.
Just like in '96, just Cheddar and Sorenstam were under par. Got 2 great players under par again this time. Is this lie? Can she get it on the right side of the green?
It's not a good lie. It would take a lot of strength to get it up on this right side of the green. 148 yards, John, and the ball's well below her feet. That doesn't help as well.
Going to hit the ball over here.
And she got it to jump out of there. It may get up.
Wow.
That's a great shot.
That was a perfect shot. She couldn't have done any better than that, could she?
No, that's as good as she could have hoped for.
Just about hole high.
So advantage Se-Ri Pak on this hole, you would think.
15.
Birdie putt for Julie Inkster. This very straight, not much break. And there are the frustrations of an Open Championship showing on Julie Inkster.
Well, these greens are so pure, Gary, and you get a putt that's inside the hole, and hit that good of an approach, you just feel like, I got to make this.
Up at 17, Dottie Pepper did miss her putt for a par. We're back to 2 over. And we'll join Hannah Storm.
Here with Lori Kane, Gary, who had a 68 in the second round, a 69 today, but you said the course is playing very tough today, Lori?
I would say that this is probably the toughest the golf course has played over the week.
Why is that?
Well, the wind is up, things are firming up. It's just a true test of golf today.
Particularly those finishing holes, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. From, well, I would say the hole back 9 is a pretty good challenge, and the wind is kind of, coming left to right on some of those tee shots, so it's pushing you into the rough, and I'll tell you don't want to be in that.
You made an interesting strategic maneuver this week, put some new irons in your bag after, what'd you have, 3 doubles in the first round?
I did, and it really had nothing to do with that, but I needed to look at something fresh. The shaft I have in my Callaway irons is different than the shaft I've put in the clubs I have in the bag now. I thought, what the heck? I went over to Mid Pines after Thursday's round and played a few holes with my caddy, Danny Sharp, and hit it really solid and thought, what the heck?
So how many holes did you end up playing on?
We've probably played 27 on
And then you played
Thursday.
36 yesterday, right? So
right.
you played
a lot of golf.
ton of golf. You said you love this golf course.
Oh,
though, right?
absolutely. I tell you, if I was to design golf courses, this would be the way I would design them. It's tough, though, to find land that's so primed as this is with the nice trees, and it's just the way it is. I can't imagine that it was any different than when Mr. Ross built it.
Well, thanks, Lori. Congratulations on a great championship. And we're going to go back out to 14.
Thank you, Hannah. And there's Kari Webb in that bunker. What kind of shot does she have here, Roger?
Well, this is really not a very hard bunker shot. Down a bit of an uphill slope. Really not much more than 30 feet to the hole. Has to get it up quickly, but this upslope will help her with that. And then she's playing to a green that's pitched against her from back to front, so
is there
it should hold pretty well.
A lot of left to right slope with this cut spin she's going to put on it?
No, not a lot, John, no.
Just a little one.
Mm-hmm.
That open stance, really open.
Look at this.
Well, that's going to make it 5 of 7 from the bunkers this week. 5 of 7 sand saves for Kari Webb. Another example of a player who has the whole package.
Well, just like really the 10th hole when it looked like there was going to be a swing there, Kari just sort of stuck the knife in at certain times, Roger, to, Se-Ri Pak right now is thinking she might pick one up there.
Head to 16.
This is Kelly Keeney's bunker shot. Left bunker, a very deep one, some 5 feet below the level of the green, and that's a well-played shot. But it wasn't as good as what she did in Thursday's opening round from the right bunker. Right in the hole for an easy birdie. This young lady understands how to play USGA type golf. Won the women's amateur a couple of times, the girls junior. Had 2 very good finishes in the women's open. And now this for par. All right, good up and down for her. She will remain at 4 over for the championship. It's just 1 over in her final round. There we talk about the 2 recent finishes in the women's open. 3rd at 99, 6th last year. And we'll go to 14.
You see Pocket 1 under, trailing by 5. Webb already has her par here, and Pocket with a long birdie attempt, Raj.
Yeah, this from about 45 feet. We'll break right to left. Putted from the right side of this hole yesterday and left it short. It is a slow putt headed in this direction. See if you can remember. This one's going to get there.
And then some.
That's a good roll, though, Roger.
That was a good aggressive roll, and she hasn't done that often enough really today.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Back over to 16.
There's a 4-iron for Julie at the 170-yard par 3. Playing it right to the front of the green, letting it release a little bit. Nicely done. And back at 15, this is Yuri Fudo from the left rough, and that is some nasty stuff. Well, Johnny, that big upright backswing, it looked like she got quite a bit of club on the ball.
She did. She choked down the club about 2 inches, but that was one heck of a shot.
That was. Makes it just to the front edge of the green. Back to 14.
And a must-maker for Pock if she's got any designs on catching Webb somehow, some way during the last 4 holes here.
Yeah, she certainly can't make any mistakes from this point. From Carrie Webb to, she's going to have problems for Savory to have a chance here. And this putt should be inside left.
Okay, so the lead remains 5 for Webb. Now 4 holes left. And over at the 18th, Dottie Pepper doing her usual alignment.
Well, she hit a poor drive in the left rough. The only good news about it, you can see that flagstick waving on the right side right there, and she has a beautiful opening into this green. She does not need to land it very close to the green. She can land it 30 yards short and it'll track on. You don't want to go long, Dottie. Been long in a couple shots, choking down about 3 inches. It's going right at the pin. Look at that shot.
She caught that out of there, didn't she?
Now you got to be lucky though. It's going to do it. That's a heck of a shot. Nice way to finish for Dottie. Beautiful shot. Look at this. That is a great shot. Look at that. And she needed to be motivated.
You think Worth's hand's not stinging a little bit from that one?
I tell you, she's a fireball.
And now they love each other. Well, it's always been a tight pairing, Dottie and Worth. And we showed earlier Dottie getting a little heated after, but it was more about just the incredulous thought of her own that the iron might have been too long. Certainly nothing offensive toward Worth. Over at 15.
Yuri Fudo using the putter from just short of the green. And this is very well done. Judged very nicely. A lot of players have left it short from there up the slope. Back on the tee at the 409-yard par 4. Sari Pak.
Well, it's going to play every inch of its 409 yards today. Wind hurting, huh? From the right, Gary.
Yes, and very severely sloped fairway, Roger, from the players right to left.
4th hardest hole on the golf course this week.
Well, started down the right-hand side, not really drawing much.
And it will find the right rough, although it appears to be sitting up. And that is Udo's par putt at 15. And
Oh, Gary, that was not a good effort. I fully expected her to make that one.
back on the tee, Kari Webb.
Choking down on that, Gary.
This ball high into the right. Starting to try to draw back. That was not hit particularly solid there. That was popped up.
And it finds the fairway, but it is going to leave a very long second shot for Kari Webb. Sairi Pak in the right-hand rough, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Dottie Pepper, you saw the magnificent fairway wood out of the rough and trying to finish up with a birdie, and it just curls in. Pepper +2 for the championship, won in a round of 69, and she's never won this prestigious title, but she continues a great track record in it. Top 20 in 12 of the last 14 years. And she'll add another top 20 statistic to that by her performance, now tied for 3rd.
Leader in the clubhouse.
This would be her 6th top 3 finish this year. She's 2nd on the money list, but still looking for that first win.
Yeah. Well, the international players have pretty well dominated that stat.
Remember last year she withdrew because of a bad back, but comes back to this championship, posts a nice 4-round total. Kari Webb 6 under total so far. 5 clear of Sairi Pak.
She has left herself a very lengthy second shot here at 15, Roger.
211 yards by my estimates, a drive of just over 200 yards. Did not hit it well at all. Has a long iron and maybe just trying to put it in front of the green. And on the front at best, I think, into the wind here. This one turning left.
Well, will it hang up? No, it won't. It'll funnel down, but that's not a bad miss. A lot of green to work with. Yeah. Well, today the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 2 is navigating the skies above the Pine Needles Golf Club to provide the aerial coverage of the 2001 United States Women's Open. MetLife Blimp is capable of reaching a maximum speed of 55 miles an hour at an altitude of some 7,000 feet. And now Sairi Pak.
A very good lie in the right rough, 182 yards. Ball a little above her feet, which is not going to help her get back to this hole on the right side of the green. Like she might have got just a tinch heavy. We'll see if it'll run.
Well, that area, the front of the green, has been very soft earlier in the week, but firming up with the wind and the sun today. And a very nicely played shot.
Well, with Kari Webb in clear command of this championship, Webb from Australia brings up an interesting point and a trend that is seemingly has continued after the first 41 championships. Just 3 foreign champions, Johnny, but the last 14 championships, half have not been from the United States.
Yes, actually, after this one, it's going to be 6 out of the last 7 have been by internationals. The only U.S. player that's won in that 7-year span is Julie Inkster, of course. So when she set the record at Old Waverly in Mississippi.
Yeah, there's just so many young players coming over here to the United States these days, and with the fine collegiate programs that are available, they're getting top instruction, and it's not like they're really from abroad. It's also demonstrated by the high number of players who are just regular members of the LPGA Tour from other countries. I mean, it's gotten that international. If you ask the players, they say, you know what, we don't even really consider them from abroad anymore. I mean, they're just here. We see them every week.
But there is a big question mark there about U.S. golf.
At the 16th, that is Fudo's second shot.
Well, that's not her best effort, but she should make, I think, got a pretty solid short game, Gary.
Jane, what are your thoughts on the discussion that Johnny and Dan were just having?
Well, I think that's pretty interesting. I think that is true about the college program, but I would have to say that even those that don't go to college that come over, like Kari Webb, when she just completed high school, had no college education, but she made a great hit on the scene right away.
So what's the secret for you Aussies and Swedes and different ones, huh?
I don't know. I just think golf is just really booming right now. You know, Australia's always been a great golfing nation. We've produced many great champions.
You're looking at the international dominance on the LPGA Tour and how it's increased through the years. Look at the 13 wins of the 15 events this year. Only Julie Inkster and Rosie Jones, the Americans, to win this year. I mean, they have really made their presence known. As you look at Kari Webb, we're at the 15th, Gary.
Getting ready for her third shot, and Roger, not the worst of positions.
No, it really isn't. I'm sure with the iron shot she played from the fairway, she was just trying to take over the green out of the quotient, and she did just that. So now she's pitching uphill. Not a real difficult pitch.
now. Now off to the left of the green, we have had a lady here all week long who has been doing some wonderful work. Nice rendering of the green here at 15 with the scoreboard behind. We move ahead to 18.
And Christy Kerr is second, even par. Obviously something.
Just checking the wind. A little gust swirls around down in there. And caddy reassures her, you got the right club there, Christy. Just trust it. At least that's what the caddy should be saying. You want the player to feel like, make a commitment to the shot. The last thing you want to do is go, I'm not sure about this, but I'll hit it anyway. Again, I have said it 2 or 3 times. If you're going to grab a club, make sure it's a club that keeps you in front of the hole. Don't err on the long side, especially here at 18. If you hit the ball approximately 6 feet past the hole, you'll end up with about an 80-foot shot. In other words, all you have to be is 6 feet by in those shadows, and you end up all the way off the green. Hopefully she won't show me that. Nice little chase move there. I don't know if she got it all. It was a little thin, but watch this. That's probably going to go right off the green. That's what we were talking about. You weren't supposed to show us, Christy.
Just a perfect example of what you think might be available green surface, but at Donald Ross's places that is often chopped in half or chopped in thirds, depending on what portion of the green you play it to.
Caddy Donna early there.
I mean, she hit a great shot, Johnny, and then to watch it fall off like that, it's tough.
Well, you just can't go by the hole, and so you know you have to say I made a mistake.
15.
Birdie putt for Pak. Turns a little left.
I would have made it a little more interesting, Gary, with the two-shot swing.
Up ahead at 16, par putt for Yuri Fudo.
Big putt for her. I think she's trying to get it into the barn, and I think she's. I hate to say a person is sort of gagging, but right now I've noticed the last few holes she's just looking at the leaderboard. Oh, if I could just finish there, I'll be so happy.
Well, that's 3 bogeys in our last 4 holes, John. As we move back to the 15th green and the par putt for Kari Webb. Roger.
Yeah, this putt should move just a little bit to her right. About 6 feet.
Well, 4-shot lead.
With 3 very difficult holes to play. So Webb, after the fairly poor tee shot, makes bogey at 15, drops back to 5 under par. And as they take the short walk to the 16th.
Well, we've already alluded to it today, and next Sunday at 2 Eastern time on NBC, we've got a preview of golf's greatest championship, the 101st U.S. Open, and then it's 4 days of coverage beginning Thursday, June 14th, as Tiger Woods headlines that star-studded field in search of his 5th straight major. Julie Inkster's second on the way at the difficult 17th.
That was a 7 wood, trying to cut it a little, and obviously a left-to-left shot. Not quite what she had imagined.
She's setting up for that birdie like yesterday.
Yeah, that's it. A little dramatic chip
That's
in.
right. Yesterday she hit over by the gallery stance right and hold it out.
Left her flat on her back.
Maybe she'll do it again.
She has far too much green to work with. It won't be that much of a tough shot.
Seen a lot of that from Julie. The visor off, kind of rubbing her head, thinking, wow, this is tough. Wasn't tough yesterday when she arrived at 17 in that long shot, and then did this for the unlikely 3. Boom, there she went. Down goes Inkster.
And that was the end, a tough run. She had a double bogey and an old bogey, and so she was reeling there, so that righted her.
On a hole which has produced more doubles than birdies this week.
And here at 16T, Sairi Pak be playing first, and Roger, a great opportunity here to put a little pressure on. You see the club selection. 5-iron has been the club of choice.
This is a 6, Gary.
If she could somehow put this close.
Is that enough club, guys?
Well, we have to really be nailed because the hole is playing back into the wind.
And this is solid, just turning left.
Wow. Well, and lands very firmly. There's a high spot right there, though. It should come back.
It's a big 6-iron.
It was. She's a little perplexed about how firmly the ball landed.
I mean, it only really.
Well, she has a flatter trajectory than does Carrie Webb. Her ball comes in pretty hard, and I've seen quite a few of her shots really skip a good bit before they do much.
Like number 2, huh?
Yes. Now this is a 5-iron from Carrie Webb. Hit much higher, turning left at the flagstick.
Oh yes, what a shot from Webb. Within 8 or 9 feet of the hole. And again, she comes back after making a mistake. We go to 18.
And the third shot coming back up the slope for Kerr after she thought she hit a fine second shot. She did. She just got.
She went with the sand wedge. What a shot. That was amazing. I think broke half a minute.
Down goes Kerr. Donald Ross will do it. Maybe she might roll all the way down. No, she's up. I thought she might find the bottom of the slope there. It would be fitting at 18. What a shot by Kerr coming back up. She's going to save her par at 18, turn in a final round of 70. She's now tied for 5th. 18 has been somewhat of an electrical spot. Dottie Pepper. This was a little earlier for a rare birdie for Dottie.
Welcome back to the 56th United States Women's Open Championship. The Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club. 16. Sayri Pak with Roger, a very lengthy putt for birdie.
About a 35-footer, and this should be influenced by coming out of the bunker on the left-hand side, so it should move a little bit to her left. And of course, Carrie Webb has a very make birdie putt.
Well, probably be a little bit of double break to it, Roger. It should move left at the start, and I think as it gets near the hole, it will try to work its way back a little bit to the right. There's the left. Will it come back right? It's trying. Those are 2 pretty good putts she's hit in the last 2 holes now. Perhaps she had been this aggressive earlier in the round, Roger, she might have had a little more success.
Well, I would think at the end of the day, should she not win, I would think she would look at that as maybe one of the reasons why.
They head to 18.
We'll see if there's some more fireworks left here at 18 as Kelly Keeney gets ready for her second. Keeney +1 on her round today, +4 for the championship. Steady USGA type of round, 16 pars today to go along with 1 bogey.
Like a 7-iron, maybe 8, and she came over it, which puts a little more power into it, and that's a tough downhill lie. You can see the ball trickle back down the hill, so that's going to be a very awkward shot.
And over at 17, Inkster for her par. So a little different story for Inkster today at 17. It's going to be bogey there. 16.
Carrie Webb for birdie. Rather commercial. Safely in for a 3. Remains at 5 under. 1 over par in her final round. 16th. And Johnny, there's a good example. I mean, these greens look large, but they don't play that way.
Yeah, like you said, the edges are not really part of the green. They're cut like a green, but the ball won't stay there.
So now Pak with another difficult putt for par and up ahead at 17. Julie Inkster actually missed the short putt for bogey, a double bogey 6.
Gary, if she hits a straight inch, will she miss it left? Just barely?
Should turn just a little bit to the left, John.
Oh, that's what I mean. Right edge putt.
I think that's the line. Well, when this championship is over, she will certainly look to her putting as something that cost her any chance of winning. So she moves back to even par. We move to 17.
And Katrina Matthew, +3 in a round today. Second shot to 17.
In case you just tuned in, this 17th hole, par 4, 429 yards, one of the longest par 4s at near sea level ever in any USGA Women's Open, and so it's about a 4.5 type of hole. You can see the greens firming up like we talked about, and that leaves an awkward long pitch
Back
shot
to the tee, Johnny. The shot shape here.
Yeah, a draw is definitely the way to go. This hole, as you can see from that graphic on the right, really doglegs left big time. Green is way around the corner, so the perfect shot is about right there. Then the green is over here.
Webb has picked up a couple of bogeys and a par at 17 this week.
She likes to hit a draw just slightly when she hits it well.
No worries here.
No worries, mate.
Exactly.
Roger falling into that Aussie rhythm.
If I could hit it like that, I'll go for it.
There was a little bit of drama really going into 16 until Sari Pak 3-putted. That, right now I'd say it's going to take a miracle finish. You'd have to go birdie-birdie. Got a 5-shot lead, Kari does, and of course Kari would have to go double bogey. You've probably done that, Raj. No, I'm just kidding.
I have indeed.
Easy.
We all have. Look at that beautiful fall through. Usually when you have a fall through that big, well, it's a good shot. I don't know what she didn't like about it.
It was a miss hit, John. She didn't get it as solid as she wanted.
It's still fine.
So Sari out there in good shape, but trailing by 5, and you see Dottie Pepper there all alone in 3rd place, one of the more emotional players and always entertaining players to watch, and she was certainly on display earlier in her round here today at Pine Needles.
4 iron, 215.
Dot. Oh, what a bounce that was. Sit down. Sit. Sit.
Dottie loving that shot and her approach into 18. Set up this birdie attempt. For Dottie Pepper. She continues her good run in this championship, and right now she's with Hannah Storm. Hannah?
Dottie, what a great way to end the championship. Dottie enjoyed that little sequence there. A lot of players say they have to play really calm, but for you it seems to be the opposite.
I struggle if I'm too still water out there.
And you and Worth are a great pair together.
It's been a great year. We've had a good time out there. Our personalities they blend real well, and he's as intense about his job as I am mine. So it's been really nice to have him out there this year.
Well, last year at the Open, very frustrating for you. You had to withdraw because of a bad back. This must be really gratifying.
It is. It's been 10 months of really hard work, but it's starting to come full circle, and it won't be long before everything really gels and something big happens, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're ripe for a win. You've had just a slew of
We've
top
done
10s
everything
this
but
season.
that, yes.
Second on the money list. You know, you went through a string of 5 years there where you were a top 6 finisher in the Women's Open, and now you're back up there on the leaderboard again. What has that been? Just your health or
mostly
something
health.
else?
You know, I don't think I swung at it very good for 2 or 3 years in the middle there, and an Open lays out all of your weaknesses, and it was not very good. And I think my ball striking has come a long way in the last 4 or 5 months, and I'm not ready to say I've got it, but it's getting pretty close. And it's been fun to practice, fun to go out and try to do different things on the golf course because I know I can do it now. And it's a lot more fun when there's more ammo in the gun.
We've been talking about the fact that it looks like an international player is going to be winning the Open for the 5th time in 6 years, and you're the top American player this year. What are your thoughts on that?
We need to play better. It's just as simple as that. I mean, the other factor is that this is the strongest tour there is. And if you have any amount of talent at all to prove yourself and to play against the best, you have to come here and play. And that's where everybody is that really can play. And bottom line, the Americans just need to play better, and myself included.
And no surprise to see Kari Webb here this week. There'd been a lot of talk that she, had not won in the USA this year, but
just talk.
Yeah,
just talk. Obviously, she's played well and played well overseas, and you can't dismiss all of that. And she's done what she needed to do this week. You put the ball in the fairway, put the ball in the greens, and I would be surprised if she wasn't leading both of those categories. So she's done what you need to do to win an Open.
All right, let's go back out to golf. To 18 now.
Thank you, Hannah. Dottie Pepper currently in 3rd place, and that would equal her best finish in this championship. She tied for 3rd in 88 and 90, and you can see Dottie's got a lot of confidence. Maybe something big's going to happen later this summer with her.
Julie Inkster's missed the 2 shortest putts, I would bet, of her professional career today. She must be just reeling.
She is visibly very dejected, Johnny. I can't believe that she did that, nor can she.
That's going to do what I was talking about. That's just what you don't want to do. I mean, it should be the first thought in mind is I'm not going long. Everything else is sort of secondary.
Earlier on this 18th hole, this was Kelly Keeney's par attempt. Nice way to finish. Back nine, she had all pars. So all pars and a single bogey for Kelly Keeney. 71 for Keeney, and that was followed by this par for A.J. Thorne, who played in the final group in the 3rd round yesterday. And the 67 in the opening round, a share of the lead, dropped off a little bit, but a solid championship for A.J. Thorne out of Canada, just 24 years old. Over at 17 from Scotland, Katrina Matthews. We continue this international parade.
Well, Katrina has about 25 feet here for par, Dan, after a very mediocre chip shot from the left side of the green. And she'd be very disappointed with that effort.
The leader, Kari Webb, 2nd.
191 yards left to the hole. 181 front.
See that flag stick on the right side. Looks like you can't even get there, but you can.
Yeah, it's a 5-iron, Johnny.
Oh man, that's nice. All right. Just what you want to do, Roger.
Cruise control.
Yep. Unless you can hit a high cut, you're just not going to go for this flag stick with any success.
Only one birdie made at the 17th all day.
That's the hardest hole on the golf course. The bottom line, it's even tougher today. This bunker that you see on the right, folks, is not really that much in play. It's about 20 yards short of the green. So even though the flag stick's way over here on the right, it looks like you can't get to it, but you can if you can hit the ball straight, or preferably a high fade, which is not necessarily her shot. She likes to hit a high draw, sort of a going, more of a going draw. How's this look? Is this going right?
Yeah, it's going right. This isn't good here. This headed for the gallery, it looks like.
Yeah, that's going to be really a tough spot if it gets out of the pine straw, but it doesn't.
Been a struggle for Pak. Only 4 pars in the last 13 holes, 4 birdies, 5 bogeys, a mixed bag. That won't get it done when Kari Webb is in cruise control. 5 shots ahead of Sairi Pak. Began the day 5 shots ahead. And Kari Webb is headed to her second straight Open Championship. Still with some work left. Gorgeous shot high above Pine Needles. Kari Webb in command with just 2 holes left. And safely on the green at 17 while the struggles continue for Se-Ri Pak. Going to play this third out of the Pine Needles.
Looks like a pretty clean lie, though, Roger.
Well,
as far as
it is, John. It's an area where there is not pine needles, but it is on the sandy soil. They call these the sand hills of North Carolina, and that is what she's sitting on. It's a very clean lie, but she's going to have to play something low and try to skip it onto this green.
Looks like she's going to hit just on the start of the upslope. One bump it up onto the green, one hop, bite, and trickle, huh? I think.
In a perfect world, I think she'd like that very much.
Well, what we're talking about, you can see this little slope right there, and it'll hop, one hop, and then trickle. So, see if that's what she does. Because she can spin it pretty good off this lie, I would think, huh, Roger?
Absolutely. If she catches a solid, she can get a lot of spin on it.
See how she's playing that right opposite her right foot? That's what you want to do on most of your pitch shots, unless you need to hit them high and get the ball first. That's what I thought. That might have been just a foot too easy. Good shot though, Roger.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it took up a little quicker than I think she would have liked it to, but it was a well-played shot.
Yeah, she played the classic shot, just what you were supposed to.
Well, we talked about how golf is booming in this world, and we'll get back to Se-Ri Pak in just a moment. But Juli Inkster now eyeing a bogey putt, trying to avoid a back-to-back double bogey finish.
And it really stemmed from the 6-iron that she hit in. It was way too much club. Scalded over the green into the bunker. Now this 18-footer for a bogey 5. And this finish will more or less take her out of the top 10, I think.
+2 as she came to the 17th hole, Kay, and 2 double bogeys later, 75 +6. So Inkster tumbles from the leaderboard, the champion a couple of years ago at 16 under par at Old Waverly as we head back to 17. And Kari Webb.
Now this from about dead hole high across the green, some 40 feet, but there's just not much break in this putt. This is a pretty flat green.
Yeah, this is like the flattest green on the golf course. It almost, in spots, it actually breaks slightly to the back if you're putting from this angle, but I think where she is pretty level. Where Se-Ri Pak's standing, that same putt would actually break towards the back of the green. Easy 2-putt though from there.
A lot of speed on this one.
Oh, when you hit the hole, it hides.
Well, that's not why she's winning, but it doesn't hurt her, Roger.
Kari Webb has made a batch of birdies this week. She's had a chip in included early in this championship, but along with that chip in, that was the most unlikely of birdies with the way that was traveling. That was humming as it found the bottom of the cup.
On the hardest hole on the golf course.
Where would this have ended up, Johnny, had it not found the back of the cup?
It looks like it's 6 feet by, 5, 6 feet by, Roger. Yep, that's about it.
And now moving it to 6 under par with 1 hole left. Well, we talked about how golf has been booming around the world. Se-Ri Pak, born and raised in South Korea, and a horde of media follows her around. Millions in Korea, in fact, watched on television in the middle of the night when Se-Ri Pak won this championship back in '98, and that really led to somewhat of an invasion of Korean players on tour. There's a total of 12 or so on the LPGA Tour, included is Mi-Hyun Kim, the Rookie of the Year back in '99, and every LPGA tournament, in fact, is televised in South Korea. And in fact, it's more popular, the women golfers over there, than the men.
Yes.
And
yes.
Se-Ri's had a lot to do with that. Boy, that is close.
It's hard to believe that didn't topple in, Roger, but she's done that about 4 times on short putts.
Well, let's go down to Jimmy Roberts.
Well, Dan, unless there's some type of Van de Veldian turn of events, it looks like Karrie Webb is going to successfully defend her U.S. Open championship. And no doubt as she walks down the 18th hole, there will be some emotional moments. There were some emotional moments last year in Gurnee at the Merit Club. Interestingly enough, perhaps the most emotional moment came out of plain sight. It was after our telecast was off the air at the USGA's official trophy presentation on the 18th green. Now, Karrie Webb is normally known as a person, at least outwardly, who seems emotionless and impassive. She certainly wasn't on that day.
I don't know if this is going back to Australia, but I'd like to thank all my family and friends for all their support, and I'd like to thank my coach for everything.
And her coach, the man that she's speaking of, Kelvin Haller, man who's worked with Karrie Webb since she's 8 years old, the only coach she's ever had. He's a quadriplegic, injured in an accident, and he's unable to travel, and yet they keep in touch via the internet. They send videos back and forth, and Karrie Webb was certainly thinking of Haller that day, and no doubt she's thinking of him this day as well.
Okay, Jimmy, and just moments away from back-to-back Women's Open championships. And the par 4 18th, Johnny, that's the draw you need.
Yeah, the draw will give you another 20 yards. If you cut the ball into that right to left slope, there's a lot of slope from going right to left. It just won't roll, but a draw will just go chucking on down there if you can hit a going draw.
Yeah, this is shaped perfectly going down the left center of the fairway.
Boy, she just made this course look pretty darn easy, Roger.
Brilliant driving exhibition.
Earlier on this 18th, second shot for Matthew.
You can see that hook lie with the slice pin placement. That's a tough combination when you need to cut it off that lie. And that was perfect. Ooh, that's the best shot of the day right there. That is it. So you got to be pumped there.
That should bring her back to +3, and back to the tee is Se-Reed Pak. She's had a fine year this season, third on the money list, 2 wins, but just didn't have the firepower, especially on the greens today, to catch Webb.
And I'm sure Dottie Pepper's looking on with interest, being +2, Pak +1. She's probably thinking,
maybe I can sneak in there.
That's going
Shot
left.
turned too much left.
Oh man, that's not a good break. I mean, it could have been worse. Could have kicked left in the trees, but she lost a ton of distance there. I hope it didn't hurt anybody. That was hit hard into somebody.
Karrie Webb walks up the 18th fairway on her way to some rarefied air in this sport. Back-to-back U.S. Women's Open titles at 6 under par. And the unlikely birdie at the 17th has her smiling all the way to 18. This a moment ago to leap into a tie for 4th for Katrina Matthew. Birdie at 18. +3 for the championship. Now tied with Christy Kerr and Sherry Turner for a share of 4th. Good championship for the 31-year-old Edinburgh native of Scotland.
Se-Reed Pak must be way back there, Roger, after hitting somebody and just bouncing backwards.
She has got a spectator in the leg, and really was kind of fortunate. It was going to head out into the weeds if that hadn't happened, but it has 198 yards left to the hole.
And we're looking at the man that paid the price, Raj. That's a little bit of a welt. That'll only sting for a little while.
That's a good thing it didn't hit about 1 inch over right on the shin bone. Just got where there's a little bit of meat to cushion it.
So Pak out of the rough.
Not too bad a lie, really. I think can hit a tumbler here, and of course the ball can run all kinds of yardage here. It's just a matter of where you want to land it and how much it's going to roll.
Just a matter of keeping it short a little, Roger.
That's right.
Forget this long hole location on the right side over here. It's a goer.
Oh, this is a goer. This is flat and going. Depends what kind of hop it gets. Hits soft.
Let's see. It's going to be good, Roger. It's a good shot.
Fairway, and know you have the Open Championship in your pocket. Karrie Webb felt that way last year when she won her first, and she's going to have it again with this big lead.
She's planning on choking up on it a lot, Roger. He's got the ball above her feet. What club?
147 yards, John. And this, an 8-iron. I'm just going to try to put it in the center of the green. I would think if it gets back to the hole, it's just because she's pumped up.
Ball's about 3 inches above her feet. Solid strike.
Boy, this looks good. Just left of the hole. Center of the green. Nicely done.
Can't place it any better.
Well, the walk-up 18 for Kari Webb. She was 11 years old. Her grandparents, as a birthday present, bought her a ticket to a tournament which was near her native air in Queensland, Australia, because a guy by the name of Greg Norman was playing, and that was what really got her hooked on the sport. She went out and watched the great white shark, got hooked on it, and later on in her golf career, when she was 17 years old, Norman invited her to stay with her at his home and talked a lot about what it's like to be a professional in the game. And Kari Webb probably didn't know it at that time when she was just 11 years old, but Greg Norman did get elected into the Hall of Fame, but Kari Webb would beat him to the Hall of Fame, as she was the youngest player ever to earn her way in last year with a championship win.
That's a great moment when you got a big lead, 5-shot lead, 6-shot, well, actually 7-shot lead. It's just you can really enjoy it. You don't have to think about anything, huh, Roger?
Yeah, this doesn't get any better than this for a golfer, John.
You talk about a major championship run. With this win, Webb will have won 4 of the last 7 LPGA major championships. And she is joining this illustrious list. The last time it happened, right back here in Pine Needles in '96. Betsy King before that, Hollis Stacy, and a pretty good group of women players through the years in this sport.
Well, it's a nice scene here, Roger. What's happening down there?
Well, a great reception, of course, for Kari Webb. Now, Sairi Pak with, oh gosh, this is going to be good 80, 85 feet across the screen. I think it'll move to her right. Not an easy 2-putt. Needs the 2-putt to finish second all alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's some something at stake here.
Yeah, an increased purse.
At 310 to 198 is a nice little, difference there. 112,000 and change difference or something.
Nearly $3 million purse. Largest purse in LPGA history. This championship.
Screen just has a little bit of break, I think, from right to left up there, Roger. Isn't that what it looks like?
Well, I'm seeing it going to the right when it gets by the hole, John.
Good. I haven't seen a putt from this angle yet today. Almost no balls have been on the front left. This is a new spot.
Sairi Pak looking for her best finish in a major since her Open victory 3 years ago. Of course, that was the same year she put 2 major championships in her bag as a rookie. The LPGA Rookie of the Year back in '98.
I think she looked at the leaderboard, Roger.
She knows how the scoreboard stands.
Yeah, she wouldn't be taking this much time if there was a 2 or 3 stroke spread between her and third place.
Still indecisive here.
And that's all it is indecision. Nobody's moved. There's been no noise in the crowd.
She hit it, Roger?
Took a couple of hops coming off the fringe, Johnny, and that took some steam off it. She's got a good 8-9 feet left.
To try and stay in second place all alone, Pak's going to need that long par putt.
You could could see from that close-up, nice close-up shot of her hands, how she's hitting the club face near the top of her backswing. And then, of course, every action causes a reaction. So coming through, she can't stay neutral. She has to re-cup it back open to make up for that. So
and we talked about Kari Webb's play in the last 7 majors and how she has dominated.
How about that?
This will be victory number 4 in the last 7. And look at the ones that she didn't win. Second, top 10, Du Maurier last year. That is some fine play in the major championships.
Well, she has a perfect game for major. She drives the ball long and straight, and like we said earlier, she gets all her distance in the air. Her iron shots are higher than anybody else in the field, and they come down softer, so that no matter where the hole location is, she can get to a lot more hole locations than everyone else, and that's a big advantage.
It's also going to be her first victory in the United States this year, but she did win abroad a couple of times, so did have some confidence coming into this Open.
Look at this.
And how about a birdie finish?
Birdie. How about birdie in 17 and 18? Is that what he did to finish her off with a 69?
Another back-to-back champion at Pine Needles, and in 2001 it is Kari Webb.
Tremendous rounds there. You can see 70, 65, 69, 69, and with an unlikely birdie finish. Look at her now. It's great feeling.
That traveling birdie at 17, and then that one beautifully stroked, 7 under par. And now Pak with a big par putt here to try and stay alone in second place.
Well, the first part of that putt by Surrey Pak, Roger did break left about 8 inches, but now it's coming up near the hole where there isn't a lot of break from there. Might be almost trying to break to the left. Again, the back of this, from where the shadows are, the green starts falling towards the back, so might be a right center putt. Straight in or right center.
It in.
Well, nice putt there. Good rounds there, 69, 70, 70, and 72.
And finishes all alone in second. But the championship for the second straight year belongs to Kari Webb. Hall of Famer at age 26 says she feels a little uncomfortable in that role. Peggy Kirkbell giving her a hug of congratulations. 69 for Webb. What a way to finish it off. Birdies at 17 and 18. 2 tough holes. Only player under par. 7 under. And an 8-shot win in the 56 U.S. Women's Open. Won by 5 last year, by 8 this year. And this is what provided the final margin. Birdie at 18. And a word from the champion for the second straight year in the U.S. Women's Open. Kari Webb adds another major to her resume, the biggest championship of all.